Hello, good morning, and welcome to Mendip's Talking Cafe. My name is Len Carney, I'm Community Agent for West Mendip, and I'm really pleased to have a special guest today, Kirsty Jensen from the Royal Voluntary Service, a service which I've definitely found very invaluable in the past to some of my clients, particularly their home library service. So I'm going to leave Kirsty to take it away.
Thanks ever so much, Elaine. Here to tell you about the Royal Voluntary Service in totality, and also what we do specifically in Somerset. So the Royal Voluntary Service as a charity was set up, believe it or not, back in 1938 as a consequence of the Second World War, and we've brought together a number of charities to do a lot of the support, as all the men were away during the Second World War, to do a lot of the support for civilians during the Second World War. And really, charity is all about adjusting to social change and supporting people. So obviously, in this last year, we've seen an awful lot of change, and the charity has really stepped up to support that. So in terms of the national picture, then obviously the Royal Voluntary Service is running the NHS Responders scheme on behalf of the National Health Service, and at the moment that's got 360,000 active volunteers that are still supporting that service, and if people need help they can self-refer to that. The telephone number for that is 0808 196 3646. So that line is open between 8 and 8, 7 days a week, and it's for people really who need help with people collecting shopping for them, or medication, or any other essential supplies. There is also transport available for medical appointments as well. So that is running and will continue to run for the foreseeable future. Again, they're also recruiting for volunteers to the NHS responders as well, because whilst there was a big influx of volunteers at the beginning, obviously people have returned to work, and the need has changed in terms of what our general communities need. So in terms of other activities that the Royal Voluntary Service do, then we also do, we have a lot of clubs and social clubs and community centres. And in Somerset particular, we have clubs, but clearly those haven't been able to meet for some time now. Can't see that happening anytime soon either. So what the charity has actually set up, which is a free service to anybody, so please recommend to any of your family or friends or neighbours, is a virtual village hall.
Yeah, I've had to look at that. It's brilliant. Yeah,
it is brilliant. And
there's fantastic activities.
Yeah, it does arts and crafts, cooking classes, which I could probably benefit from, floristry, crochet, health and wellness classes, some technology skills, which I definitely could benefit from. And you can watch it live or you can watch it on demand, whichever suits, really.
I know, I did see there's some ballet coming up.
Yeah, so I did look at that.
Yeah. And making an autumn wreath, which looks like a good one. Yeah.
So actually, the Duchess of Cornwall, who's our patron, she actually does the Silver Swans one, and she's
right. I see. Yeah. I didn't realise that.
Yeah. So the Silver Swans is really good, and then as you said, they're also good. Did you see the one where they're doing these really nice autumn wreaths?
Yes, that's the one I spotted. I did write down the date of that one. I thought that would take me for a few hours.
I thought, I wish I could do that. It looks lovely.
Yeah, it did look lovely. Yeah.
So they've also got Zumba, quiz nights. They've got weights, which I don't think I fancied. And I tell you one that might be interesting for people is fireworks safety for dogs. Which in that, So
someone behind me is terrified.
Yeah, so that's on the 3rd of November. So that is existing, and I think that can be really important for people, because the one thing we're all missing is social interaction. And I think those could be really, really nice for people. And as I said, they're on demand, so you don't have to watch them live. And there's also Q&A. Yeah, there's also a Q&A with Elaine Page, because she's also one of our supporters. So that's quite interesting as well. She's got the most annoying laugh though. But anyway.
I agree.
But in terms of specifically around Somerset, I support I'm a service manager for the Home Library Service. So that's across the whole county of Somerset. So I live in South Somerset, and whenever I'm going to Minehead, I get to Taunton. I think I'm nearly there, and it's like I'm not nearly there. We've on that road that goes on forever and past
A very long, windy road. Yeah.
So it's a big old county, but we have around 150 volunteers across the whole county. And pre-COVID, we were delivering to over 400 people. And what we were doing, and continue to do, but in a different guise, which I'll explain in a moment, is our volunteers will choose books, deliver books, and befriend people in their homes. So they'll go in, have a cup of tea and a chinwag.
Yeah,
So,
my friend volunteers for that. She loves it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the brilliant thing is you just meet the most interesting characters, you know, who love reading. So you already have a shared interest for conversation. So, and I think one of the things that's really important that we all recognise during this pandemic is that people are struggling with the isolation, and, you know, personal well-being is being affected by isolation. So it's going to be a long old winter for everyone. And certainly if you're an older person, or you're housebound, or you've got a disability, your children, you've got long-term illness, it's going to be a long old winter. And the radio is fantastic, and so is the telly. But there's nothing like sitting and reading a book that will take you to another world. At the moment, and so a book will take you to another world, and it does help mental well-being. And so we have volunteers that, although obviously we can't go into people's homes at the moment for their safety and our safety, we are doing doorstep deliveries.
Yeah.
Our volunteers then follow that up with telephone befriending calls as well. So, and it's not just random books, you'll be pleased to know. There's nothing worse than reading a book you're not enjoying. It's such hard work. Anyone who wants to join can do so easily by either contacting their library or by contacting myself. And they can do that either on email or they can telephone me, and we'll give those numbers out a bit later. And on the application form, it asks them what sort of genres of books that they enjoy.
Yeah.
So it's always good fun, because sometimes you'll get no American authors because they don't like the grammar. You'll get no steps. I'm going, well, we flicked through 300 pages. I didn't see any, I don't think.
Yeah, I know my friend talks about this. Obviously, some of the genres.
Yeah. I mean, my idea of hell is when someone says science fiction. I'm like, God, I hate science fiction. I can't even watch Star Wars. So, you know, ultimately, they give us an idea of the genre and the format. So, you know, lots of people will have large print. Or sometimes people, because they've got arthritis, or that they find the hardbacks too heavy. So again, we can get ordinary print and paperbacks for them, or we can get audio books. And so that's either in a CD format or something called a play away, which we get from the library, which they pop a couple of tracks in, and there's a play button and a stop button, and they listen to it that way. So it will always be books that they've expressed an interest in. And the volunteer will visit regularly, leave those on the doorstep, and take the other ones back. And obviously, as you would expect, we have completed, as I'm sure most people have, a lovely risk assessment to ensure that everything is safe. And we've provided COVID training to all our volunteers and provided very clear guidance on how we deliver the books. So all of the books are chosen at least 24 hours in advance. They're put in a bag and put to one side. So they're not touched again until they're delivered to that volunteer. And clearly, the volunteer is following very clear instructions in terms of sanitising hands and such like as well. So safety is key, because a lot of the time we are delivering books to clearly the most vulnerable group. Although the service isn't age specific. So I want to reassure people that the precautions you would expect to be taken are being taken.
Yeah, my friend has said to me how secure it is, you know, how safely she is delivering the books. You know, things need to be wiped and then re-wiped, and her hands. And she's talked about how you put them in quarantine beforehand. And so she did mention that to me, how secure it was, you know.
Yeah, so that's worked really well. And obviously we've taken on lots of new referrals because people are shielding this winter. And I wanted to reassure people really that we do have capacity to take on new clients and new volunteers, because it's really important that we look after you. And as I said, it's known to give a real boost to mental health reading. And I think we could really in that this winter. So, you know, in terms of getting in contact for either volunteering or wanting to refer a friend, neighbour, relative to the service, if they're able to give me a call, so my telephone number is 07920 250 834, or they can email me at Kirsty with a Y, as you can see, .jensen@royalvoluntaryservice.org.uk, or obviously ask at the local library and they'll be able to guide you through me. Or you can go onto the Royal Voluntary Service website. That'll tell you all about the virtual village tour, which I'd encourage everyone to look at, and it'll tell you all about the NHS responders. And again, if anybody needs help with things such as the collecting of shopping or medication, central supplies or lists of medical equipment, then ring in the number 0808 196 3646, and we should be able to help there as well.
Yeah, I just back up your service. I said the home library service, I've used that with at least 4 or 5 previous clients, and it's this was pre-COVID. Probably haven't done it since COVID, the COVID situation, but it was made such a difference to them. Just the fact that, you know, they had that contact with somebody. As you say,
it's much about the books. Yeah, as much about the trending as it is the books.
Yeah.
And, you know, our volunteers thoroughly enjoy having a good old chinwag and a cup of tea with people. You know, people have such interesting stories of their lives to share. So, you know, it's a real privilege.
Yeah, it is incredible, isn't it, to hear, like, when you meet somebody and then you get, well, obviously at the moment, that's tricky.
Yeah.
But that's the part I'm missing at the moment, is that face-to-face contact, obviously, with clients.
Yeah. I mean, it's
in these times, we have to find alternative options, don't we? So
yes. So, I mean, I have to say, we've had some feedback from our existing volunteers, because we supported, whilst we were in lockdown and the service wasn't operating until towards the end of June, we were supporting all our clients with telephone calls. And actually, we had quite a bit of feedback from volunteers that actually I've learned an awful lot more. I've learned a lot more about my clients. We've got a lot closer through talking through lockdown.
Exactly.
So there are having some benefits. See, mine was asleep on the sofa over there by the fire.
Right, I've got some questions. There's a question I've got here. So it's saying, can this be done virtually? Could a volunteer read a book to one of our residents using Zoom, or discuss books via Zoom? So that's from Kieran. Right.
Yeah, it's not something we've yet done, Kieran, but there's absolutely no reason why we couldn't. You know, if you take the example of, we do have a couple of volunteers that historically have gone in and read to somebody in their room. That's an extension of exactly that. So yeah, if there's a need for that, absolutely, we wouldn't have an issue with doing it.
Right. Oh, that's good. That's brilliant. And I've also got another question from Carol saying, are the talking newspapers available? Or do you...
Not through ourselves, but as I understand it, talking newspapers are available. I think that's done through Somerset site.
Somerset site, I was going to say, yeah.
Also, the library service, as everyone knows, do obviously ebooks and such, like, if that's useful to people. Sometimes people like that because they can enlarge the print. People like me who don't really want to wear glasses but have to. You know, on the Kindle, you can make the print larger.
I used to do that.
So ebooks are available, and again, you know, it is a wonderful resource, but we do find that not everybody is computer savvy. So it's about being innovative. And to be fair, as Kieran probably alluded to there, you know, I hadn't come across Zoom until COVID hit. So, and I'm sure that's the case for lots of people, and probably lots of potential readers as well.
Yeah, exactly. Right, that's brilliant. That's a fantastic overview. I apologise, I'm wiggling around. I'm trying to restrain my 2 puglets. Thank you very much for joining me in this talking cafe. I think that information is just so useful, and obviously to get your service known to the world. Yes. And obviously more referrals, possibly from myself and other agents.
Thank you for the opportunity, Elaine. It's much appreciated.
I agree. Obviously, it's going to be a long winter, I think. And I think, as I said, any services such as yours are going to be very beneficial to the community and our clients. So thanks again. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks, then. Bye.